Well, look, if you look at all the major computing platforms that have existed, Windows, Android, iOS, hopefully the future ones around the metaverse that will get built, Apple's stands out as the only one where one company can control what apps get on the device. Right? That wasn't the case in Windows. That isn't really the case on Android phones. I mean, Google might control what goes in the in the Play Store, but they've always made it so that you could sideload and have other app stores and work directly with phone manufacturers. And that's also been our commitment in how we built up our VR and what we plan to do with the AR headsets is we allow sideloading, we allow streaming from PCs. So I do think Apple has sort of singled themselves out as the only company that is trying to control like unilaterally what apps get on a device. And I don't think that's a sustainable or good place to be. So I don't know. I mean, I think I've been pretty vocal on this, but that's
Right.
I just think it's a the platform is too important, right? I mean, it's I like exactly how the law defines what a dominant platform is. I think varies from place to place, but I mean the reality is that the vast majority of the profits in the mobile ecosystem go towards Apple. They have, I think, the majority of people in the U.S. have iPhones. Certainly, the majority of the economic activity on phones goes towards that. So I do think it is problematic for one company to be able to control what kind of app experiences get on the device. There are a lot of forces that create accountability for people to make sure that we're acting in customers' interests. The number one is still basically people and what they want to use. And it's clearly a very competitive space, right? I mean, if you look at just how TikTok has emerged over the last few years and gotten to more than 1 billion people, I mean, anyone who says that the social media space is not incredibly dynamic and there's not like a lot of new stuff that's getting created, I think just isn't looking at what's going on. That's pretty clear. Is you need to keep focused on innovation, and having succeeded in the past doesn't mean that you get to go build the next set of things. You have to really keep on pushing and doing well at that, and in some ways being willing to cannibalize some of the past stuff that you built in order to push forward for the future. So you have that, and then I think you have a set of kind of regulators and governments around the world who are increasingly active on these topics. But I think customers get to choose what they think is good. Governments, in general, are elected in order to look out for people's interests. I think the problem that you get into with the platform control is that Apple obviously has their own interests, and part of the challenge here is that they're one of our big competitors. So the fact that companies have to deliver their apps exclusively through platforms that are controlled by competitors, where the competitors can control. I think there's not like there is a conflict of interest there that makes them not just a kind of governor that is looking out for the best of people's interests. I think that you don't want one person or one company making those decisions, which is why we pioneered this oversight board for our content decisions, so that people have a vehicle that they can appeal to outside of us. But look, I think it's good that companies take different approaches. I mean, you can agree or disagree with what Elon is doing or how he's doing it, but I do think it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out in terms of the approaches he's taking. And I would guess that not everything is going to work, but I think some things might work, and I think even he would say that not everything is going to work. So I kind of think the world and the industry gets more interesting when people take some different approaches, and I think it's completely reasonable if some platforms conclude that they want to have some different policies than others. We've gotten to our policies from years of experience and kind of getting feedback of what people want on the services, and trying to provide the most expression that we think we can while keeping a platform where we're keeping people safe. And it's obviously there's not like one line on that is like the right place to be. I think that there are value judgments on that, and also how you execute that matters. But we've kind of evolved to where we are. We do have policies around deepfakes. I mean, we kept that up because it was also it was clear that it was a deepfake. It said that. It sort of was making a parody, right? So I think allowing people to do humor is important. Allowing people to show new technologies is important. If someone was really trying to trick people, then I think that would potentially be a different situation, and that's why we have a policy around that. But I don't think you want to have policies that get rid of all humor or kind of demonstrating things. But yeah, I mean, the threat landscape evolves. I think some things evolve faster than others. In terms of people being rude to each other or hateful, that fortunately is not evolving at an extremely fast rate, although it does evolve in terms of how people speak. But technology does. Nation state interference evolves quicker because that's more of an adversarial dynamic, where when you have countries that are trying to kind of get involved in each other's affairs and create networks of fake accounts, their tactics evolve pretty quickly, and we need to be very focused on that.